I'm back and I'm black. Splashway B Splash on the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. Salute to everybody tuning in. Do me a favor, check out the links in the description box below for the Patreon page and the Facebook page. Excuse me. Salute to all the Patreon members. Hit the like button, share this video. All the subscribers, all the new viewers. Leave a comment in the comment section below. All right, let's get into it. These photos that I show on here, they're not real. All right, this is AI. I swear to God, this is AI. When I even typed in, when I typed in black man with his Panamanian girlfriend in Panama, like they had this same photo, but he was facing the other direction and she was facing this direction. So these are not real photos. I know they look real, but they're not real. It's AI. Salute to Ozzy. All right. More Panama talk. All right. More Panama talk. Damn, it's about to rain over here. I wanted to go out riding tonight. Damn, they said it's going to rain at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Damn. It is what it is. All right, let's get into it. So there's 3 misconceptions that a lot of people, I think I need to change that. 3 misconceptions that men have about Panama. But I have it on there. It says 3 misconceptions that black men have about Panama. I'm not just trying to target a certain race of men. I'm trying to talk to everybody. I don't know why I typed that in there. Number 1, women are cooperative in Panama. Now, they're not rude, right? They're not mean-spirited. I didn't meet any women that were rude. Every woman that I approached, they all gave me a smile, and they were very nice. So I'm pretty sure I might run into them soon. I didn't meet any women that were rude. What I mean by the misconception that women are cooperative is that some women feel just because they're an 8, 9, a dime and they're 25 years old or younger, and they just so happen to either have a little to no body count, that somebody's just supposed to court them and chase them and make all the first moves and call them. Women don't, let me tell you something, man. Women don't like that. Okay. Women like to be the ones chasing men. A relationship is healthier when a woman is more interested than the man. See, when you a man sending good morning, beautiful text messages, how's it going, always initiating a conversation, these women, they don't respect you. You just in the friend zone. These women will friend zone you and use you when the things don't go right with the dude that they like. All right. Women don't respect guys like that. There are some women, they'll stay with a guy for a long time that they don't respect. I talked about this on my Patreon page. There was a guy I worked with back in 2009, 2010, and he was I'll just say he was like metrosexual. I'll put it that way. And he ended up meeting a woman, and I never hung around with him, but my other coworkers hung around him, and they said that she wears the pants in a relationship. Like, she's very masculine and dominating over him in a relationship. And like the other month, his name just popped up in my head because I remember his first and last name. He's from out here. And lo and behold, his Facebook page shows up, and it's him, his wife, and his two daughters. They're still together. So I'm not saying that can't be done, but most men, especially masculine alpha males, they don't want to be in a position like that. All right. I'm not doing all the work. That's what women mean when do I look like somebody that goes 50-50? Basically saying I don't go 50-50 financially, I don't go 50-50 sexually, and I don't go 50-50 emotionally. I don't even go 50-50 spiritually. So when I meet somebody, and I don't mind initiating a conversation, but if a woman thinks that I'm supposed to be doing a job that it's like your own father didn't even do it for your mother, right? If I'm doing what you fantasize in your mind, knowing it's going to lead me to destruction and it's going to lead me to basically nowhere, wasting a whole bunch of time making this level of effort and it's not reciprocated, then if you think that's how it's supposed to be done, then you're sadly mistaken. And most women today, and knowing the caliber of women today, especially even in Panama, you got women with tattoos down there. You got some. I didn't see too many obese women down there, but you saw some chunky butts down there. All right, you saw some chunky monkeys down there. I'm not. I'm not courting no bitch in 2025. I don't care what part of the world we're in. Women aren't to be courted in 2025. Now, if this was like 1905, I would court a woman, right? 1805, I would court a woman. A woman. I'm not courting a woman in 2025, and bitch, you ain't finna tell me what I'm supposed to be doing or not. I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. That's why you're still single. All right. That's why you should have been off the market a long time ago. Like old girl that I told you guys about, she telling me what she think I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, she was she told me she was a virgin, 21 years old. And, she grew up in a mother, father's house going to university. That doesn't make you more valuable than the ratchet bitch. I mean, it gives you somewhat sort of a leg up. Your cooperation with me is what makes you valuable. You being a help me to me is what makes you valuable. Not you telling me what you think I should be doing in order to get your love or get your attention. All right. You don't tell me what I need to be doing. You're not old enough to know what a man's supposed to be doing. And by the time you think you have it down pack as what you know what a man's supposed to be doing, it's too late by then. It is too late. I went to a club in Panama where women, I'm talking about dimes, was slanging that monkey in between their legs for $100. $100, I could have got the baddest chick in the club, which I did, for the whole night. And I'm supposed to be courting you? No. No. You at a university sitting in class, going to nursing school, and it's just not a classroom full of women, right? And the classroom might be full of women, but you go to the major university in the country and there's men that attend that university too. You're supposed to be looking at the men that's of your culture that speaks your mother's tongue, looking left and right from you. Really, right? More than likely, you're not looking at them because they can't take you to a nice restaurant. They can't take you to a steakhouse. They can't pick you up in a car. They can't book a hotel they can't book a room at the Intercontinental for the both of y'all so y'all can have some privacy. You can't do that. Or the men probably next to you, you think, okay, they can't really do that. I want somebody a little bit older that's more established. Well, if you want somebody that's more older and a little bit more established, and I'm supposed to be invested into you, I want a return of investment. I want an ROI, and I'm not going to wait years down the line for an ROI. I want an ROI right then and there. This ain't Forex. This ain't stocks, bitch. This is McDonald's. This is HEB. This is Kroger's. Soon as I give you my money, I want what I ordered. I want to have it my way, like Burger King. If I'm putting in my money in the register, I need to get in. I'll give you some time to cook up what it is you have served for me, but I need, cooperation, dedication, affection, right? Obedience. I need that right away as soon as I invest into you. So you don't come on now. You don't go to your employer telling your employer what they're supposed to be doing for you. They're like, hey, look, we don't need you. All right. So, anyways, I think there's a misconception that women are cooperative, they're friendly, they're nice, but and really anywhere around the world, you know, most places around the world, most women, especially towards brothers, they're probably not going to give you the level of cooperation you're looking for. Um, there have been some marriages I've seen. I saw a marriage this week. It was really nice. What country? He was somewhere in Asia. I saw 2 marriages this week, actually. Black men, Asian women. It can happen. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but don't think that when you go somewhere, women are gonna run back to their village and then come back to where you are and follow you around, campaigning for your marriage, for their hand in marriage. Like, no, right? That's not how it is in Panama. You'll get respect, you'll get good conversation, and it starts there. That's where it starts. But I noticed when I was there, it's just like most of the women were like, damn, so if even if I did tell you I was gonna call you back and I don't, you don't message me. I'm like, look here. I ain't playing no games with nobody, right? I'm not playing no games with nobody. If you think this finna be a chase, then I'm disqualified from the race. If you think this is a chase, because I create my own path. I ain't chasing after nobody. You chase after somebody, man, like their level of disrespect for you, it just increases to the point where, they can have you harmed. Right. So women are attracted to men who have self-worth and respect themselves and who have options. All right. Women respect men that tell them, hey, look, this is how it's going to go. You're not going to disrespect me like this. I'm the man, you the woman, and this is how my program goes. If you don't like it, fuck off. I don't need you. Women like men whose world doesn't revolve around a woman, right? Women like men whose world revolves around their purpose. All right. Really, my purpose for going and y'all's purpose for going to Panama is to have a good time, right? Yeah, all right. You do look good. You in shape. Body is nice. You have a good job. Everything about you is nice. But look here. If the cooperation is lacking, I could go right down to this bar right here. I could go to the titty bar right here and pay $100 and get what would probably take me time, more money, and too much effort to get out of you. Right. So watch your fucking mouth when you speak to me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for the most part, women, the initial meetup is always friendly with the women that I met. It's just long term. They expect you to do too much without them making a certain level of effort. Some women, not all women. So you got to check that and put a stop to that. Or you just got to go to a different country that's best suitable for you. All right. Number two. On the list of, the misconceptions that brothers have about Panama, it's expensive. I talked about this multiple times. It's expensive. No, it's not expensive. It's not as expensive as you think it is. The Ubers were definitely not expensive. The Ubers were very cheap. All right. Panama is fairly small. Well, Panama City, if you stay in the city, it's pretty small. So it's not going to cost that much to get the economy vehicle to pick you up and take you to your destination. I was spending $2-3 everywhere I was going. The Airbnbs, an entire apartment, you can find Airbnbs for as low as like $50, $50 a night. Now I know when you compare it to other places, like I don't have anywhere else to compare it to in Latin America, but a cheap place would be like Thailand. Thailand, you could get pretty nice, decent hotels for $20 a night. All right. I haven't looked it up. For the most part, most of them, well, how many hotels have I stayed at in Thailand? There were some spots where the pictures were very nice, but once you get there, the hardware was very old. All right. Like the bed frame and the dresser and the TV, it was like really old, but in the picture, it looked a lot more modern than what it really was. All right. So, you get what you pay for. $50 a night for Airbnb, that is decent. That is a nice apartment, the complete apartment with a full kitchen, washer and dryer in a good location. You go anything above that is because, that's at your discretion. If you're booking entire condos at Costco Viejo, which you can, and they're still affordable, then that's when it hits around about, $80, 70, 80, $90 a night, $100 a night. Now, I had a lot of points with the hotel group that I'm with, to where my stay was free. But if I didn't have those points, it was $200 a night. All right. So you don't have to stay nowhere for $200 a night. And it was along the strip of Cinto Costera. I had a really, really nice view. So you don't have to stay on the Cinto Costera strip, right? You can go to San Francisco or any other neighborhood and book a room, book an entire apartment from Airbnb, check out the ratings, or get one of those mom and pop hotels. You could do that. You could find whatever it is that you're looking for. You don't have to do $200 a night. You could do $50 a night. So $50 for 5 days, $250. That's not bad. I want to say like the nicest hotel that I booked this hotel because a company said, all right, we recommend you stay at this hotel before we send you over to this town for this job over here. And I booked the hotel, and the hotel was not too far from Don Muang. I think I mispronounced it. Don Muang Airport in Bangkok, Thailand. It wasn't too far from there. And it was a nice hotel. So I would use that hotel later on, it was only like $20, $25 a night. And the breakfast was cool. It was, in a quiet area, a quiet little neighborhood that you would have never suspect a hotel would be at. $20, $25 a night, right? So you could get cheaper, but you're paying more on the back end, booking flights over there to go all the way to Thailand. For some people, it's worth it, especially when you have like 2 weeks off. That's worth it, right? I don't, I don't get 2 weeks off like that. I could, but I don't want to take 2 weeks off. The most I want to take off at a time is like 1 week. I like to get back to work, you know. So with a cheaper flight, man, you can afford to pay $50 a night. It's not that much more expensive. All right. Food, you don't have to eat at steakhouses like I did. All right. I was doing that because I was vacationing. I was enjoying myself. It was my first time there. I kind of wanted to go all out a little bit. So yeah, I was eating at steakhouse. Every time I ate, I was going to steakhouses. Right? $150 a plate. You don't have to do that. The mom and pop spots, like the Panamanian restaurants, the local Panamanian restaurants, right, that serve Panamanian food, they're a lot cheaper. I remember I went to this brunch spot. I think I got a waffle with Nutella, pause, and I got a breakfast burrito. But I didn't even finish the breakfast burrito. I'm like, this is too much. I think it was like both meals were like $10 a piece, right? All right, sure, it's not $3, $4 like you would get in Thailand. But to be honest, I don't know how much, the average plate is at a Panamanian restaurant in Panama. I really don't. Do I think it's $3? No, but I don't think it's more than 10. Right. But I'll do my research when I get back because, I was told like, hey, no, you eat the Panamanian food down there, it's much cheaper. So it's not that expensive, right? Uber's not expensive at all. Hell, the Uber in Thailand is way more expensive than I won't say way more, but the Uber in Thailand is more expensive than the Uber in Panama. All right. So, you got to watch where you eat, watch where you stay. And to be honest, if you book, your Airbnb in a good spot, dude, you really don't need an Uber. Get your exercise, get your steps in, you know, like where I was in Cinta Costera, I didn't need to book an Uber anywhere. Like I could have walked wherever I wanted, but I mean it was kind of hot. But I really didn't need to book an Uber besides going to and from the airport. That was it. If I wanted to just walk it everywhere, I could have. So it's not as expensive as you think. And, you're going to get it out your system the first time you go somewhere. The second, third, fourth time you go someplace, that's more like, I'm trying to connect with something more than just the tourist area. I'm trying to connect with the people. I'm just lounging at this point in time. Right. So you spend less. All right. Last but not least, I know brothers going to Latin America, brothers are like, hey, I want to learn the language of the country. So, Brazil, they don't speak Spanish, they speak Portuguese. But in, the majority of the other countries in Latin America, they speak Spanish. So there's a lot of brothers who learn Spanish so that they can communicate with the women down in Latin America. That's great. And I think Spanish would probably be the more easier, probably be the easiest language for us because growing up in America, we already know simple shit. We know certain words in Spanish. We know how to count. You know, we know the English Spanish words for a lot of words in Spanish. So it's like we already know more than these other languages. Like I don't know any words in Chinese. I don't know any word in Thai. I don't know any word in Japanese, and I lived in those countries, right? When you have a love and a need and a want to connect with people in a country, and you really want to connect with them by language, then you'll get it done, right? You'll definitely get it done. But don't think that the Spanish spoken in Panama is the same Spanish spoken everywhere else, right? So if you have a tutor, you go online and you are scheduling sessions with a tutor, and your tutor lives in Spain, your tutor is going to teach you Spaniard Spanish, the real actual language that's supposed to be spoken as far as Spanish. They're not going to teach you, you know, Western Spanish. They're not going to teach you the Spanish spoken in Spain is different than the Spanish spoken in Mexico. The Spanish spoken in Mexico is a little different than the Spanish spoken in Panama. All right. I would say, from what I heard, the closest Spanish that's spoken, in Panama, in a different country, is actually Colombia. That's just like America. The closest country to us that speaks English closest to us would be Canadian. Well, in Canada, Canadians, they speak their English is closest to us. All right. The English in the UK is the accent is different, and there's a lot of words that they use that we don't use. All right. We don't say trousers. We don't say lift. When we want to wear pants, we don't say trousers. When we want to say trash can, we don't say bin. When we want to say elevator, we don't say lift. All right. So does that mean that the sentence structures and the grammar is it totally different? No. If you learn British English, you can still have a conversation with people in America. It's just some things they're going to be confused on. Well, they're going to be like, well, what is that? Same with the English spoken in Ireland. The English spoken in Ireland is totally different, right? I've had conversations with many people from Ireland, but when they go to like a cafe or whatever, a restaurant, and they order fries or tater tots and they want ketchup, they don't say ketchup, even though it's right there on the bottle. They say red sauce. They call it red sauce in Ireland. And it's like, motherfucker, do you know how many sauces that are the color red on the market out here? Which red sauce are you talking about? Ketchup. They just don't, there's a lot of words that are different. Same thing in, the Philippines. Philippines, you can still have a conversation with Filipino people, but I mean, they have their mother tongue, then they learn English, and you know, sometimes it's broken English that they speak. Then the language in Australia, New Zealand is a little bit different, but you can still have a conversation. So just know that pick a country that you're interested in and learn the Spanish from that country. Spanish speakers, tutors from Panama, there's not a lot online from what I've seen from Panama, but there's a lot of tutors in Colombia. There's a lot of tutors, online from Colombia, and that's like the closest Spanish spoken in Panama. So get a tutor in Colombia, then either go to YouTube and type in like Panamanian Spanish and pronunciation and slang, and then make the adjustments from there. Right. Salute the 3D Radical. Panama is cool. The locals were friendly. I stayed there for a night because of my flight was canceled. They put us in a 4-star resort. I didn't know it was all that water down there. Yeah. Yeah. I like to return one day on a vacation and see more. Only thing I could say about Panama is negative. From what I seen was the traffic. It was crazy. I didn't really run into any heavy traffic in Panama. Like the only place that had worse traffic was Sri Lanka and the Philippines. I've been to. Nah, I've never. I was pretty much out the majority of the time I was down there in Panama. I didn't run into any heavy traffic. Um, you talking about how people drive and stuff like that? Yeah, but as far as backed up traffic, I didn't really hit back up traffic like that in Panama. I would say the worst I was at was like Thailand. Thailand was bad. I can't really say Taiwan because Taiwan, I was riding a motorbike the whole time. And shit, there's uh you can lane split. You can lane split in Thailand and Taiwan. It does you can lane split anywhere in Asia. It don't matter. Right. But I wasn't my first time, well, actually my second time there, when I stayed for that long stretch in Thailand, I didn't ride a motorbike. The third time I was there when I stayed for 6 months, I was riding a motorbike. So I didn't really hit any traffic, even though very dangerous to ride a motorbike in Thailand. But that was the worst traffic I ever been in. You go to Chiang Watana, uh, Central Mall, in Central Chiang Watana Mall during rush hour. Good luck. It's gonna take you hours to get there, and it's right down the road. Like, well, I mean, for that. All right, so to get off the main highway and to go down the road where the mall is at Central Chiang Watana Mall, it'll take you hours, and it's like you can see it. It's right there, but the traffic's so heavy, you just can't get to it in a car in a vehicle. I like flying through the airport with Copa Airlines. Um, so there's plenty misconceptions, right? Salute to J Bones for the $5 super sticker. So when you go down there, can you meet a woman? Like, even though this picture right here is AI, can you meet a woman like that? Yes, absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, you can. Hell, both of them look Panamanian in this picture. I swear to God, I saw somebody because it looked like they're walking through Costco Viejo. I saw a guy working in Costco Viejo who looked just like that, rapping, right? So, brothers, can you find a woman just like that on the right? Yes, you can. The thing is the initial date, the meetup or the meetups is going to be friendly, nice, soft spoken. Even if she don't speak English, she's going to be patient and translate on her phone to you. They know how to take a joke, right? They didn't get easily offended like women in Asia. They weren't hiding the fact that they're walking around with a black guy in public. You know, yeah, you can find beautiful women just like that in Panama. The thing is like when you go, not even, not even when you go back home, it's like, the next day, especially when they have a schedule of their own and they're working and shit. And it's like the level of effort and cooperation that they expect out of you is way too much. It's like It's kind of a huge role reversal in their mind. And that was just the women that I met. That don't represent all the women. That's just the women that I met. The women that I met that were fine with no kids, they felt like I'm the one that's supposed to be messaging them every single morning, courting them. Get the fuck out of here. I'm about to go to the booty club and spend $100. That's what I'm gonna do. Bitches down there better than you at a very low price. All right. Get your mind right. And the Spanish, the Panamanian Spanish, it's a mixture of like, Americanized Spanglish with like a Caribbean influence also. Right. Basically, the way they speak Spanish in Panama, it's like the Gucci Mane of Latin America. That's how you speak in Spanish down there. It's like talking to hood boogers from Atlanta, right? How they don't really pronounce all their letters and man, fuck that shout out, fuck, shit like that. They don't pronounce everything. That's how that's their Spanish in Panama. Like the S's, buenos dias, right? Buenos noches. They don't pronounce their S's. They're like buenos noche, buenos dias, right? That's how they talk. They don't pronounce their S's. They kind of slur a lot of their words. I was listening to some YouTube channels, the way they say things. It's like, okay, this how they would say it in Mexico, but this how they say it in Panama. And it's like, damn, they talking trap language down there, right? So just know that if it sound different when you go there, it's because it is a little different, you know. And there's certain words that, if you go to a restaurant and you ask for something, like there's a pretty good video of they had these women from like Spain, Mexico, Colombia, and Panama, and what are the different words? And all of them had a different word for a straw. All of them had a different word for straw. So, I was like, oh damn. Anyways, dang. Ghetto Spanish, I think it's a little bit more ghetto than Puerto Rican Spanish. Trust me. It's a little bit more ghetto than that. I'm in Panama at the moment for the Carnaval. Yeah, a couple people told me Carnival was going on down there. The people are nice. The city is different from other South and Central cities I have visited. Yes. Hold on. Let me see some of the images. Because Carnival seems like it's that shit just goes on in all of Latin America. Carnival. And, let's look at last year's images. What it looked like. Oh, that should be going on for days. The 2024 Panama Carnival took place from February 10th to 13th. Why does it change every year? This year is from the 27th to March 4th. Okay. 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 I'm looking at some of the images. How everybody's dressing. It looked like the carnivals in Casco Viejo. Yeah, that looked like the church in Casco Viejo. Or it might be throughout the entire city. These images here, I recognize the location. Mm. Well, this is a recent photo. Oh, damn, they really partying. They partying up down there. Bro, making me want to take a trip down there. Man, take a trip. Because I'm starting to think, I'm like, well, all the horror stories and the violence in Brazil, Colombia, right? It's like, damn, all right, they got bad bitches there, but you really got to watch your step over there. I mean, you got to watch your step anywhere, but you really like, damn, I shouldn't even be over here. And it's in the daytime in some of these countries, like, you know, the level of safety. Central America is where it's at. Mexico, Mexico, yeah, there's so many American women down there that'll fuck it up for you. It'll ruin your experience going to Mexico. Why would I want to go to Mexico and I see Shaniqua as soon as I go in a restaurant? It's Shaniqua and her homegirls. Well, what the fuck y'all doing here? Then it's Becky in the corner with her homegirls, right? Then it's Rowena porn on the other side with her homegirls. It's Kim, Nancy, uh, Allison, what their homegirls on the other side of the restaurant. It's like, nah, it's too much too much of that poison from America is seeping its way, or in Mexico. Then it's like you damn near got to dress in a suit. Motherfucker, when you go out in Mexico, you got to dress like Kevin Samuels. So I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool. It is a 4-day weekend here. Tomorrow's another day of celebrations. What the ladies looking like down there, dang dang? You talk to any other women? Yeah, the people were nice. I didn't run into one rude person when I was down there. Everybody was nice towards me. I was like, oh my. I don't want to go to Mexico and Texas. I got Mexico here already. Oh, I don't want to go to Mexico. I'm in Texas. I got Mexico here. Yeah, I'm in Texas also. Like I don't need to go. Well, I did want to go because I thought, like, you know, I've been hearing some things about it on social media, but I'm like if I want to take a quick trip, then I'll go to Mexico. But nah, I don't want to. I need to go a little bit further. And Mexico's a big ass country. Like it's a long country, pause. So anything past Mexico, that's far enough to get away from women from America. You're not escaping anything when you go to Mexico, right? Them hoes are there. I'm telling you, if you go on Hinge or Bumble or Tinder, make an account with all three of those dating apps right there. You're gonna see a bunch of American women, and their location ain't even in Mexico. Their location be like Chicago, Milwaukee, Ohio. I didn't see any Mexican women on them dating apps in Mexico. Too many Americans, bro. I agree. Everyone goes there, man. Yeah. They think they doing something on there. Like, nah, I need to go a little bit further. I get it. The flights are cheap. You can still have a good time, but it's like, come on now. Now there's some holes down there for the low. There's holes in Mexico for the low, right? I will say that. But if you trying to, you know, if you just want to get to the point, but if you trying to meet up and then have your a little weekend girl, right? Weekend girl. Weekend girl. You want a weekend girl. I mean, I'm sure you could find a woman anywhere, right? You can find a woman in Mexico, but you think you actually about to holler at a Mexican woman. No, you hollering at, you think Marty Soul is actually from Monterey. No, Marty Soul is from Austin, Texas. You try to approach Marty Soul from Austin, Texas in Monterey with Spanish. That bitch like, I don't speak Spanish. I don't want to talk to you either. Like, damn. Move your hands to Mexico City. The only thing you see is Shaniqua and Becky and Allison. No Maria. Yeah. Yeah. Salute the 3D for the $1.99 super sticker. You ain't finna see no Mexican women on Hinge in Mexico City. Right? You gonna see Sharkeisha with all her tattoos, her kids. Talking about, yeah, I got it set to that location because when I get my tax returns, yeah, I'm finna go to Mexico and do it big. Like, all right, all right, then. Bitch looks smoked out on Hinge. Location set to Mexico City. Them bitches look blunted. Talking about they going to Mexico City. Like, I don't want to connect with y'all at all. See, my brother, he goes down there a lot, but he goes down there with his girl. Like, he's already in a relationship, so they go down there quite often. But, you know, and brothers got receipts. Brothers are meeting women down there. It's just like, yeah. I just want to make sure. That's why I went to Panama. I was like, I want to make sure I don't run into this where I'm going. I want to make sure. So that shit is crazy. Then on top of that, like, you meet a woman in Mexico, she from somewhere in America, but y'all click, y'all link up, y'all have a good time, right? Beat it out the frame. Then she end up pregnant. She gonna get you, right? I want to knock up a woman that has that has to. I want to be able to knock up a woman in a country that has to get her mind right before she talk to me over the phone if she need any help and assistance. That's what I want. I want a woman that will say thank you for what you gave instead of telling me what she thinks she deserves. You see what I'm saying? I want a woman that's just like, hey, you know what? Let me make this work. Right? Let me talk nicely. All right. Because I can't even holler at his government. Like, I don't I can't even I can't, right? I want a woman that don't even know my number. I want to be able to knock up a woman, don't even know my number. All she knows is my screen name, and the name that I gave her. She ain't even got a phone number. She can't even call the embassy and be like, hey, what name is attached to this phone number? No, she got all I got is an Instagram screen name and a nickname, right? Bitch, my name is Frog. All right. And my name on Instagram is Frog187. Do you have no, bitch? My name is Frog. I don't have a last name. I'm a royalty. I'm like Prince Harry. I don't have a last name. Well, what kind of shit is that? Well, that's my culture. That is my culture. That bitch trying to get some assistance. She tell him like, yeah, his name is Frog. No, no, get your mind right. All right. As soon as you meet a woman in Mexico and she from Illinois somewhere, that bitch gonna run back to the courts when she find out she pregnant from you if you had a wild night with her in Mexico. So now I need to stay away from Mexico. Your Spanish women, it's not well, his you mean Latin women. 3D, you not from Texas, or you live in Texas, but you ain't from Texas. You must be from the East Coast because down south, don't nobody say Spanish women. That sounds like an East Coast thing. 3D, where you originally from? Yeah, Spanish women in the States be acting bougie now. I remember growing up, they were nice, and now they just as bad as the others. Yeah. They be using the N-word and all that shit. Like I don't rapping. Cardi B got them turned. Like, you just gonna have to I'm just brothers just still in America because they gotta make their money there. That's it. I'll be cool with a Mexican baby mama. Philippines got the most wife equality women. I disagree. They know the assignment, just gotta help their families. That's the trade-off. The thing about Filipino women, like I knew a couple of guys that had Filipino women, but one guy in particular, when he was just kind of, he would tell his business, like if his wife was upset with him or they had a disagreement, that bitch wouldn't talk to him for like a week, 2 weeks in the house. I'm like, damn, that's what they do? He was like, born in the greatest. I've never heard anybody from Texas say Spanish women. I've never, maybe that was a slip of the fingers on your keyboard, but I've never heard anybody in Texas say Spanish women. I've never heard anybody in the South say Spanish women. That's like an East Coast thing. But I mean, if you're from Texas, all right. A lot of Cardi B behavior in Jersey and New York is just sad and horrifying, ghetto and treacherous. Yeah, so who wants to deal with that? Right? I didn't see any of that when I was in Panama. I wasn't there that long or long enough. Yeah, you have some whores out there, but they weren't doing the most. They wasn't acting bad. They were very nice. You know, uh, they had some loving hoes in Panama. The hoes were nurturing and loving in Panama. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh wow, right? It's called Tampo when the Filipina ignores you. I hated that. Well, yeah, I mean, according to that, there alone, they don't make them. They're not the most wifey quality women. Just that right there alone demotes them to trash. All right, you gonna practice Tampo on me, and bitch, you come from uh you come from a treacherous slum. You come from a slum where as soon as you walk outside, it ain't nothing paved about your slum. You ain't even got lights in your slum. The only thing that light up your house at night is your cell phone screen and a candle. And you talking crazy? You ignoring me? My ex did it. I told her to stop, and I didn't like it. It's one of the reasons I broke up with her. But I could say she was the best girlfriend I ever had. Man, get the fuck out of here. That ain't. Come on now. If she was the best, you want to let her go. You don't. You can't really call something like that the best. It was the best out of the trash you've been with, right? That ain't the best. Who wants to deal with that? Ignoring me, and I pay everything up in here. I can see like, hey, you want your space. I can see if y'all ain't speaking if something really, really bad happened, like you cheated or something like that. But you talking about, you know, she stopped talking to you because you asked her, like, hey, like when you done with this, can you put it back? Like you keep leaving this out, and then I keep tripping over it. You don't even leave it out on a table, right? You leave it out on the floor, and I keep tripping over it, hurting myself, right? Please put this back. I've told you this like 2-3 times already. A bitch will stop talking to you because of that. She'll give you the Tompo treatment because of that in your own house. No, no. So culturally, hey, that really don't make them the best. Now, does that make them ain't shit? I'm not gonna say they ain't shit. No, I don't. I'm not gonna say they trash. But I've said this to brothers. I'm like, hey, culturally, I just don't want to deal with women from Asia anymore. It's just a difference in culture. That's it, right? I'm not saying they trash. I'm not saying none of that. Culturally, I'm not dealing with them no more. That's what I'm saying. That right there is out of pocket. Here go my Panamanian chick right here. Let me lick you up and down till you say stop. What does she say? Why do I want to move? Move where? She think I want to move to Panama and do what am I going to do down there? I never mentioned anything about moving to Panama. Good point, bro. Anytime they get mad or misunderstanding what you say, they use tempo because they don't like conflict. I told her I'm done with it. Asian women bipolar. Yeah, like that's why I was like, man, I'm done with Asia. They turn everything into conflict. They don't understand a lot, and it's like it's not an insult, right? You're not insulting nobody. You're not talking crazy to nobody. I remember one time, in America, you might hit up somebody and be like, you might hit up a girl and be like, hey, what you doing? So, I'm just so busy. I just working and I got a million things going on at the same time. Man, then you respond back to my, man, that's cap. You ain't got shit going on. Bring your ass over here and let me beat it out the frame. A girl will respond saying, no, I'm for real. Like I'm very busy and yada, yada, yada. But, I'll get up with you when I have time. That's a normal American conversation. Do you know I said this to a woman like that? Oh man, that's cap. You ain't got nothing going on. Won't you, come through? You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing going on. This bitch that I said that to responded with a voice message, cursing me out in broken English and shitted on my mother. You know how Asian people, when they broken English, they try to insult you. Fuck your mother in the pussy asshole. You fucking, you bitch, you. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, where'd that come from? Like, I'm like, bitch, who you fucking talking to? Ain't nobody talk crazy to you. Why the fuck you talking crazy? You see, but they don't see when I was doing that in Panama, right? Just being playful, I didn't get attacked for being playful with anybody in Panama. You get attacked for being playful to bitches in Thailand, in Asia. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this no more. Ozzy said, how long does the tampo last for? It depends on what she get mad about. It could last a day or it could last a week. Yeah, usually, like my homie who was married to this chick, it would last for over a week. And he be like, bitch, if you don't start talking, I'm gonna send you right back to the Philippines. And that's when she would start talking. Yeah, Asian women take everything to heart. But you got brothers on here talking about, oh, I think Asian women are the best. I'm like, all right, maybe they're the best for you. I'm not shitting on nobody. Well, I don't see what you see. Maybe it's me because I'm like, I don't see what you see. I really don't. You know, so no, we're not gonna have like a little disagreement, and then you just gonna. I can see if the rest of the day you don't say anything, but you know, for over a week, it's like, man, if it was that bad, then bitch, leave. Then if it's that bad, if you that upset about something minute, then get the fuck out my spot. Then yeah, man. So mm. Making the band contestant Sarah Rivers accuses Sean Diddy Combs of sexual harassment in $60 million lawsuit. Get the fuck all the way out of here. Asian women got the worst attitude and not black women. I've been saying that. They more feminist, but when an Asian girl get mad, oh my God, no. Yeah, I've been saying that. Yeah, I've been saying that. You know, you know, the key to a black woman's heart is some good dick. You know, that's the whole thing. If you kind of have the image that they like in a man, and you putting them ankles behind the neck, right? And you know, she digging them nails in your back, right? And she using the Lord's name in vain while you hitting that, you okay for the most part, right? They'll get over a lot of shit, right? But an Asian woman, she's mad at herself for even fucking with you. She think fucking with you really is an L. Like damn, I've dishonored my family by fucking with this Negro right here, right? So it's like anything that upsets them, like they get twice as mad because you black. That's what it is, right? They yell louder than black women. A black woman can't out yell a Chinese woman. If there was a holler contest, Chinese women will win all day. Chinese women will win all day. So yeah. Anyways, man, I've been on here over an hour. You guys have been good. Salute to J Bones and 3D for the super chat donations. I'm over and I'm out. I'm gonna make a video later on the Patreon. So click the link in the description box below. I'm about to go exercise. I'm gonna just do some cardio. I might do some squats too. I need to do some squats. All right. So we're gonna do some jump roping, some elliptical and jump roping, elliptical action, and squats. All right. So I'll see y'all. I might go live tomorrow. See y'all later. Peace.